What a season this has been. Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and I think a lot of us are having trouble trying to describe exactly how we feel right now. The season 10 finale of Death Battle has been announced, and right after getting Goku vs Superman the Third, something that a decent amount of people never thought was going to happen, now we're getting something that pretty much all of us did think was going to happen, but it still always felt like it was just in the future. Always. Well, the future is now, motherfuckers, because next time on Death Battle, we have Galactus from Marvel versus Unicron from Transformers, and I am unable to contain my hype, my excitement, my everything. You guys know that Stitch versus Rocket was my most wanted Death Battle of all time, and when it happened earlier this season, I was over the moon, like, everything that I'm feeling right now, like I was so happy, I was in disbelief, all of that stuff. And after that happened, Galactus vs Unicron was my new most wanted episode. I literally got my two most wanted episodes ever in a single season, and I'm in complete disbelief of that. I have no idea how that happened, how I possibly got that lucky, but it's what's happening. And I know Galactus versus Unicron is something that everybody wants to see, obviously, and I'm so happy for everyone who's been waiting for it for so goddamn long, not every single season, but so many seasons it felt like the finale has to be Galactus versus Unicron. It has to be Galactus versus Unicron. And then it just never was, And I was thinking that for season 10, this would also be a good season for them to do Galactus versus Unicron as the finale, but I remember, to not get my hopes up too high because it didn't happen in season 8, and that was the season I really thought it was going to happen. So I kind of just forgot about it over time. Like I'm thinking like, don't think about it too much, but it actually is happening now, and I am so happy, so over the moon, especially since season 10 has been so consistent and so good, in its quality. So I cannot even imagine what a season finale to all of that is going to be like. I think we are in for something incredibly crazy, off the chain. Like I cannot wait to see what they are cooking. I think it's gonna be great. But anyway, that's enough fanboying for now. We gotta actually talk about this fight. So when it comes to power levels, both Galactus and Unicron can easily pose a threat to their multiverse. Galactus has threatened to devour the multiverse on at least one occasion, and his most intense battles can threaten the entire multiverse as a side effect, and we know that Unicron devoured the previous multiverse, the entire previous multiverse, before the new regular one came to be. And of course, he's trying to devour this new multiverse. And from my understanding, both of these multiverses work pretty similar to what's known as a quantum multiverse, where all infinite possibilities that exist manifest into their own individual universe. So basically infinite shit that we're talking about. Now, if I were to try to argue one character being more powerful than the other, especially when looking at them at their best, I would probably go with Galactus, mainly because we've seen Galactus humiliate characters that should be well within this multiversal range, and both Galactus and Unicron's destruction has been described as ending all of existence before as well. There are multiple definitions and descriptions that float around for these two in terms of power. It can get kind of confusing. But if we look at it more from that lens, both the full cosmologies of Marvel and Transformers are actually really insane, but Marvel's is likely more so, and this especially applies if we're looking at stuff like Lifebringer Galactus, which I don't know if Death Battle will be including, but generally speaking, I could see both of these characters being placed around the same in terms of power output, or maybe even power supply. They are very similar to each other on paper. Now, when it comes to abilities, this looks like a pretty big point for Galactus. Don't get me wrong, Unicron does have some handy powers, like transforming, size changing, flight, various forms of energy projection, force fields, cosmic awareness, resurrection of others, corruption via the Dark Energon, and frankly more than I have time to go over right now. But Galactus possesses basically all powers and all resistances to those powers that have been seen from any and all power cosmic users, which essentially covers every power. We're talking every psychic ability you can think of, like telekinesis, reading, wiping, and controlling minds, etc. Control over space, time, reality, matter, matter, souls, energy to the highest of degrees, and frankly, basically every power that Unicron has, except for the Dark Energon and other similar specific traits. And yes, we have seen power sources negatively affect Galactus after Galactus tries to absorb them, so trying to absorb the Dark Energon could potentially be bad for him given its corrupting nature. However, we have also seen Galactus absorb energy that was deadly to him just fine, like with the majority of a full magical dimension. So when looking at a top condition fight, energy poisoning probably wouldn't be enough to do the trick, at least on its own. Now, one of the bigger questions for this fight is how could these guys actually kill each other, because their respective levels of survivability is ridiculous for almost completely different reasons. Both of these guys have insane durability, let alone looking at their regenerative capabilities. But Galactus's goes to the point where he can literally come back from nothing, like we've seen with cartoon characters. It is that ridiculous. Galactus has even described it as him Galactusing himself, which is pretty self-explanatory. Although he can probably die from too much hunger or getting all of the energy drained from him, which is pretty well impossible to achieve when looking at a well-fed Galactus, but still. Unicron is a bit more complicated in that he can always reform his physical body if it's damaged or destroyed, because he essentially acts as a concept of chaos or evil, and due to this, he exists in every universe that exists at the same time, making him nearly impossible to stop coming back. His true form or essence because of this is also basically untouchable, and while there have been instances where his true form or unbound form has been unleashed due to destroying a physical body of his, it essentially works and acts as a supermassive multiversal black hole, which is pretty much impossible to attack or damage by most conventional means. With all of that being said though, Galactus has probably the best possible counter to all of it, that being the Ultimate Nullifier. For those of you that don't know what it is, the Ultimate Nullifier is essentially a cosmic superweapon that has now become an aspect of Galactus's being or something along those lines, and what it does is that anything that it fires at, anything that it shoots, will be erased from existence. And I mean anything. It's not just that it can erase entire timelines, multiverses, etc., even though it can also erase multiplus to outerversal abstract beings like Abraxas, and erase them from all points in space-time simultaneously, as if they were never created. And we know that Unicron was created by the One. He didn't always exist, despite being an abstract being in his own right. Unless I am majorly misinterpreting something about the Nullifier or Unicron's existence, I see no reason why this wouldn't be able to get rid of Unicron. Galactus could undo all of Unicron by shooting his physical body once, or if he needs to shoot the true essence of Unicron for it to work for some reason, he could just kill Unicron's physical body, unleash the supermassive black hole, and shoot that. That is the unbound presence of Unicron. I'm pretty confident Unicron does not have an explicit resistance to something on this scale, nor does he have an ability anywhere similar to it in terms of specifics. I think this is a really big advantage for Galactus, especially as it pertains to landing a killing blow, which is ultimately what it's going to come down to. There's a lot more to this fight I could unpack, especially in regards to their specific abilities or feats, but I think in a general sense, their advantages and the overall comparison are decently easy to understand. Again, it's hard to say what Death Battle is going to say regarding their power levels and all that. I could see them saying that they're more or less equal, but I could also see them giving one a slight edge, and the same goes for their speed. Again, I'd want to say that Galactus would edge out personally in those categories, but even if they say that Unicron is a bit stronger, I still think that Galactus is better set up for actually ending the fight. Galactus's abilities, in my opinion, give him much more control and unpredictability in a one-on-one fight. He could very well be impossible to kill from Unicron's perspective, as he could just keep coming back from nothing over and over again, and he has a super weapon that can erase beings that are arguably even more abstract and powerful than Unicron himself. Unicron is insanely impressive, don't get me wrong, and there are arguments you can make for his own victory. There are strings you could pull on, I believe. However, Galactus's win cons and arguments just seem a bit more reliable to me, and his unmatched capabilities in a physical fight or a mental fight, just a one-on-one fight, could certainly get him there. So, for the time being, I am casting my vote to Galactus. But of course, this is just my interpretation of this batshit crazy fight. So let me know what all of you guys think. Who do you think is going to win? Why do you think they're going to win? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. Maybe even subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. That would really help the channel out. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I am so friggin' excited for this. I've been waiting for it for so many years. It's actually happening. I cannot believe it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.